Hey everyone, it's Anthony with Policy Buff, and I'm back with another How I Got the Shot video. In this episode, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on some creative portraits using some simple props. And on this episode, we're going to talk about creating artificial rain on a window pane in the studio. But before we get started, you know the YouTube drill. Hit that subscribe button, and if you dig this video, go ahead and hit like. All right, let's get started. My client Laura is a singer-songwriter here in Nashville, and she was looking to get some images done that coincided with some music she had been working on. She sent me one of the tracks for inspiration and gave me free rein to come up with whatever I wanted creatively. So one of the concepts that I had pitched to Laura was rain on a window with some moody lighting, and she was 100% on board. Our studio space here at the office doesn't have the right kind of window, so I knew I had to get creative, and I only needed a few things to pull this off. So here in Nashville, when you're working with some upcoming musicians, budgets are pretty tight, so I wanted to spend as little as possible. So when I wanted to create this window pane, I looked around my office and found a 16 by 20 frame that I hadn't used yet. So that became my window pane, and I just removed the cardboard insert and that paper insert and used the frame and the glass. I grabbed a spray bottle from my garage and ordered a bottle of glycerin online prior to the shoot. If you're not familiar with glycerin, it's a colorless, odorless, non-toxic, viscous liquid. And a lot of food photographers use it to create that condensation on cans and bottles, and they'll even spray it on food sometimes to give that glistening kind of fresh look. The glycerin in this instance, when mixed with the water, was acting as our rain. I diluted the glycerin because when it was sprayed by itself, it gets kind of gloopy and clumpy, and when it's mixed and diluted with the water, it has a tendency to look a lot more natural and run and flow just like rain would when it hits a window pane. The mixture was 50-50 with glycerin and water. I did add a little bit more water because I wanted more of that drip kind of effect going on. And I do recommend experimenting prior to your shoot if you want to try this out. Anything from the spray bottle can make a difference to how much water to glycerin ratio you use. Larger spray bottles differ from smaller spray bottles, so it's all kind of personal taste what you're looking for. You can even take the glycerin and apply it directly using a toothpick if you really want those larger beads, and it does look pretty cool. I extended the boom arm from one of our 13-foot combination boom stands to give me something to clamp the window pane to. Definitely want to be careful and make sure you don't clamp the glass because obviously it'll shatter. It's not going to make for a good set and a very dangerous floor. Once I got the window pane positioned in front of Laura where I wanted it, I then grabbed my spray bottle and sprayed down the glass. And while that was working its way down the glass, I went and set up my light. The lighting for these shots was fairly simple. I just used a Link 800 with a 24-inch foldable silver beauty dish. And before y'all come at me in the comments, because of our last video, I said, I'm going to challenge myself to use different modifiers. This was filmed prior to that, so cut me some slack. Since we were going for a more moody, low-key lighting setup, I tossed a grid on the beauty dish, and that focused that spread of light down to create a more dramatic image. For the first look, I had my light camera right about 45 degrees, and it was raised up and tilted down ever so slightly. The positioning was really important because if it were to be flat on, I wouldn't get the depth and dimension on the beads of water that were on the window pane. For the second setup, I positioned the glass to Laura's left, and I went from shooting through the glass to catching Laura's reflection in it. Because our studio has white walls, I wanted to make the reflection more prominent, so I grabbed a V-flat and used the black side to make as my background behind the window that would allow Laura's reflection to be more prominent, and it also ate up that light, so I wasn't getting any spill coming from the white wall. Take a look at some of the final images from this shoot. The pièce de résistance. As always, I hope you found this video helpful. If you're not doing so already, go ahead and give us a follow over on Instagram at PolicyBuffInc and use the hashtag PolicyBuff for a chance to be featured on our page. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.